There it is. All right. Well, thank you for joining us as we have this next meeting. I know some of you were in the previous one about the one-day Engage program, and then we have, I believe, 2 new users and 2 previous users. So I'll say this first to the previous users. I apologize that you have to hear a few of the same details again, but I will try to be quick. My name is Quinn Freiberg. I'm the executive director for Forging Education, which is the nonprofit that is building and putting Castlewood Classical Academy in Castle Rock. And so we're excited to have you here to learn about it. There has been a phenomenal response to this program. We have a lot of people who have already jumped in, and this program itself is actually getting towards the full side of things. And so we're glad you're here to hear the information. And I hope if you are interested that you put the application in very soon, because we do process first come, first serve. I am a homeschool parent and was homeschooled. My saint of a mother raised 6 kids and homeschooled all of us from K through 12th grade. My wife, who does most of the work, if I'm being fair, with homeschooling, we have homeschooled our children on and off. We have also done hybrids, and we've also done private schools that Forging Education also manages and oversees. And so I'm really excited about these opportunities. We are here now, and hopefully you know that we are here now for the 2-day hybrid program information. Again, if you were in the last meeting and you already heard this, I apologize, but here it goes. Castlewood Classical Academy is an extension of Forging Education Enrichment and School Network. So Forging Education is a nonprofit organization that functions out of or works out of multiple cities in Colorado. This coming year, we should have, I'm probably going to get this number wrong, I believe it's 17 campuses between 3 different types of programs. We have the one-day Engage program, which was the 4 o'clock meeting. We have the 2-day hybrid, which is what this one is about. And then we also have some programs built for private schools or 4 morning a week programs for homeschoolers as well. Forging Education, as I said, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to partnering with parents in homeschool, hybrid, and private school settings to provide high quality academics and programs to support those families. The classical hybrid program does incorporate homeschool enrichment funding. So this is a program that there are really 2 ways you can take part in this program that I'll get to here in a moment. But one of those ways that would be applicable to everybody is the homeschool enrichment funding. So the state of Colorado provides funding for homeschool enrichment programs. It is limited to 1 program per student. Cassie did mention to somebody at the beginning of this meeting that we will talk about a way where you can do multiple programs within Forging Education. However, if you are in a program that is not within the Forging Education network, you typically do need to choose between another organization's program or our organization's program. You can't double dip into the pot of Colorado enrichment funding. Homeschool students, the only real criteria for getting this funding and grant to go to this type of a program, you have to be 5 years of age or older by October 1st, and you have to live in Colorado. Those are really the 2 criteria, and you can't be in another enrichment program. Another organization that Forging Education partners with to actually get the grant to do this is an organization called Enrich Colorado. You do not need to remember all of this, but if you see an email or 2, if you sign up from Enrich Colorado, that is an organization, another nonprofit that is part of this entire process of bringing this 2-day hybrid to the Castle Rock area. So Castlewood Classical Academy's 2-day hybrid program is dedicated to providing high quality, classically rooted education that equips students with strong academic foundations while intentionally developing character and virtue. And I believe I am at the point, Cassie, do you want to take over here? I'm at the point where I'm going to pass it over to Cassie for a little bit, and then I'll end with more of the boring stuff on my side. But here's Cassie for the exciting information.
Okay, so yes, this is very exciting because this is where I'm bringing my passion and my experience and everything that I have wanted, all the culmination of everything that I've done into helping start this program. So our 2-day hybrid program is dedicated to providing a high quality, classically rooted education that equips students with strong academic values while intentionally developing character and virtue. We are absolutely classically rooted. We are making sure that we are focusing on virtues when daily and building up that strong character, because that is a huge part of education and what I believe education to be. So the 2-day classical program is divided into 2 parts. So there's a morning session, and this is the publicly funded portion. So basically what happens is when you get public funding, you get it for what equates to 1 full day of education. So we have broken out that 1 full day until 2 mornings twice a week. So that in the morning, you get a free state funded enrichment program. And in the morning, we are doing math, science, and PE. So that is the free portion that is state funded, provided you are not in another program. And then the afternoon portion is an optional tuition-based academic extension. This is faith-based. We are doing English, history, art, and Bible in the afternoon. And this is offered at a very low cost to you, privately funded. So the privately funded portion, like I already said, publicly funded is science, math, and PE. Publicly funded is English, history, art, and a biblical worldview class for your kids. And you can choose to do the morning portion only or the full day twice a week. And we are meeting Mondays and Wednesdays. And we are meeting kids K-8, and we'll talk about how that's going to be separated because we are operating on 2 campuses. So our location, we have our elementary at Eternal Rock Lutheran, which is downtown Castle Rock, right by the library. Like basically, I mean, they share a parking lot almost. It's very close, and it's a very incredible location, and it's going to allow us to do some pretty fun things for kids. And then the middle school is going to be at Cornerstone Church. This is on 5th, very close to that very large Catholic church on 5th, but it's about 5 minutes away. So if there are families that have students in the K-5 program and also in the 6-8 program, the distance between the 2 programs between the 2 locations are close, within 5 minutes, and we are staggering start times as well. So this is our calendar for the year. So we have this published. Our first day is going to be August 11th. Fall break is October 13th and 15th. We have a Thanksgiving break, Christmas break, and then our second semester starts after that with a spring break. And then last day of school is going to be May 20th. That is the week before Memorial Day. This aligns mostly with Douglas County School District's calendar. So if people have kids that are in a Douglas County school, it's going to align mostly. The only one that's different is spring break. But the cool thing is you guys are now homeschoolers, so you can choose to break when you need. And actually, I'm going to talk about that just really quickly because I've had a lot of questions on attendance. So if there is a day that you are not able to come, if there is a week or 2 weeks that you cannot come, if there is longer than 1 week, and I'm going to send this out in an email as well, and it'll be a part of the parent orientation, all you need to do is let me know. And then just make sure that you're keeping up on schoolwork wherever you are, whether it be at a campsite or on the beach or at home if you need rest days. So you are able to do that on your own time. So if you do need to take a break, that's fine. So all of our team members, I am so excited about our staff. We have incredible, highly qualified teachers that are joining our staff, and I couldn't be more thrilled about that. So just basics though, they have to sign a statement of faith. They have to pass a background check, but then they have to be experienced qualified teachers because we are expecting our teachers. So at this point, I know Quinn did mention that we are nearing full, and that is absolutely true. We are so grateful that we are filling such a need for our community, and it took off quite quickly. So every classroom is going to be contained. So I am not combining any classes, which means that when we do have our teachers, they need to be experienced in teaching all subjects and experienced in teaching them well. So I am happy to say that that is absolutely the case. So a little bit about me. So I love education first and foremost. It wasn't my initial job. I was in the marketing industry, international marketing specifically, for a while, and it was not the right fit by any stretch. So I ended up going to school. I got my going back to school, got my master's in elementary education. I focused heavily at that point on diverse environments. I taught in very diverse schools, and I have endorsements in both cultural and linguistic diverse education, as well as special education. And I believe that that background allows me to teach and assist in teaching all types of learners, every type of learner. So I've been in education now for about 15 years. I have had multiple roles, primarily being a teacher. I taught for 5 years in the public schools. I was a teacher lead. I had student teachers in and out of my classroom, and that was also when I realized how much not only do I love teaching kids, but I love leadership and education as well. I love being able to lead and grow educators, along with myself. I am a lifelong learner, and that's also a big part of my belief in education. So I did step away from the classroom to start having children. So I left the classroom when my oldest was 1, and I tutored and I taught online because, again, I love teaching, and then ended up helping start another program that was academic based and I gained a lot of experience through that. I was a teacher lead there. I led trainings and for both parents and teachers. And I'm really excited to bring that experience here because I feel fully prepared and excited about this program. And because what I see is that, and I mentioned this, but there is such a need. Because I was homeschooled myself. I was homeschooled from 2nd to 8th grade, and education can be very difficult. And public education is especially difficult these days, and that extends to so many different areas. So right now we're seeing an influx of people wanting to leave traditional schooling and start to homeschool their own children. I experienced this firsthand last year. So last year was the first year that I personally became a homeschool mom. And having a program like this is so instrumental in being able to effectively homeschool your own children, because we come alongside you. We are providing the curriculum, we're providing the pacing guides, we are fully supporting you in your efforts at home to teach. So with that said, it is a very incredible but necessary collaboration between parents and teachers, that we are teaching your kids, but you are also teaching your kids at home. So that means, so when we are here on Mondays and Wednesdays, we teach your kids all the subjects, math, science, and PE in the morning. And if you are a part of the afternoon, you'll have English, history, art, and Bible. And you will be teaching your kids on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And that is something that going into this, you have to know that it is an absolute requirement, because for instance, on Monday, we will do lesson 1 in math or English, and then you will do lesson 2 on Tuesday, and then lesson 3 will be done at school on Wednesday, and then lesson 4 will be done at home prior to Monday, which we will start lesson 5. And no one's going to be left in the dust. You're going to know exactly what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to teach, but it is absolutely imperative that you do, because we're not if someone does miss a lesson, we're unfortunately not going to go back to reteach that. So that is where the collaboration piece comes into play, and it is incredibly important that everyone's aware of that. And also a little bit about me personally. I have 4 kids. I live in Castle Rock. I'm from Colorado, and I'm just so excited to be a part of this community. So one question that I get often is, what do you mean by classical? Classical education is kind of a spectrum. There is a lot of different styles and methodologies as far as classical education goes. So we, also being a part-time hybrid school, we are more classically driven. So at Castlewood Classical Academy, a classical education means cultivating wisdom, virtue, and a love for learning. Our classically based curriculum develops critically thinking while forming students of strong character and integrity. So we want to build your students educationally, but also spiritually, and also socially, to make sure that they know who they are. They know what they're supposed to be. They have a guide based on morals and virtues and a strong faith. And that's what's the most important. So our curriculum this year, math in the morning math will always be the first subject we teach in the morning, because we are able to ability-based group students in that way. So if your child is in 3rd grade, and when we give placement assessments in July, and you will all get a sign up for that, when we give a placement assessment in July, your child will be basically placed in a level. Okay, so if they're in 3rd grade and they place in 2nd for math, then they will simply leave their classroom for that block and learn in the level 2 math that they were placed in. And the same thing can happen in English, as English will be taught all at the same time right after lunch. So Singapore Dimensions is math. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but it is more conceptual driven over computational. So we're working on actually understanding what numbers are, and not simply memorizing an algorithm on like a step-by-step method. Like, what is happening with the numbers, and how is that going to translate into higher level thinking when kids get into the upper grades, when they start learning algebra and beyond. Having a solid concept of number is the most important part, and no curriculum that I have found does it any better than Singapore. Math is actually my specialty, and I absolutely love this curriculum. And then also in the morning, we're doing science. For science, we're doing core knowledge. It is a neutral stanced science, but we will absolutely not be teaching anything that goes against creation-based learning. But it's a very fun, engaging curriculum that kids are really going to enjoy, full of experiments and hands-on learning. And then for the afternoon, we start off with English. We're using Institute for Excellence in Writing, also known as IEW. It is a classically based curriculum. It is faith-based, and it ties in a lot of the classical ideologies, which is very helpful with the step-by-step methods. The ProGym, I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's a very easy way for kids to learn and progress in a rigorous style of writing. For Bible, we are doing Answers in Genesis. It's an engaging, colorful, fun curriculum. It teaches apologetics. So kids are learning about God, but also learning how to defend their faith. For art, we're using master books, and for history, we're also using master books. Master books is, when we talk about a classical spectrum, this is more Charlotte Mason leaning, and it's very beautiful and engaging, takes kids on voyages. And this is where we can also incorporate the library, which sits very close to our campus. Every student will be getting permission slips to allow them to walk to the library with their class, to do research projects, to go on voyages when we have those in history, to be able to maybe even do a class or 2 in there sometimes, just to break things up and just have a little bit more fun for them. So our classical our classical hybrid operates as that hybrid program where we provide structured in-person instruction on those 2 days a week, but then you are expected, like I said, to actively participate in the learning process by completing assigned work and continuing instruction on the at-home remaining days. So again, this model works best when parents are fully committed to their role as the co-educators. Families should only enroll if they are prepared to support their child's learning outside the classroom. So if this curriculum isn't right for you, if you don't think you're going to be able to have a structured or at least a rhythm on your homeschool days where you can complete the work, then the academic structure program probably isn't right for you. But for most people, I think this is an answer that they've been looking for, because this is definitely something that I was wanting as a new homeschool mom. Okay, so character development goals. So at Castlewood Classical Academy, we believe that education is more about more than academics. It's about shaping who students are becoming. Our classical program is designed to help students grow in responsibility, integrity, perseverance, and respect for others. Through intentional habits, classroom expectations, and meaningful discussions, we aim to cultivate a strong moral character that supports lifelong learning and personal growth. That is what we intend on doing, and that is our mission for all students. So our classroom organization is based on enrollment. Grades with 8 or more students will operate as a standalone class, while those with fewer than 8 may be combined. But I think I skipped ahead a little bit when I mentioned this, but we are not combining classes at this point. We have reached enrollment where we are able to have contained classrooms for every grade. So for the cost, like I mentioned, the first half of the day is free, publicly funded. The afternoon is privately funded. So for your first student in your household, it is $1,800 a year. And additional students in your household, it's $1,200 a year. So if you have 2 kids, you pay $1,800 for the first and $1,200 for the second. And then if you have even more than that, you would just be doing $1,200 for all your subsequent children. So students participating in the tuition-based afternoon program will need to bring a packed lunch. The kitchen is not accessible during the days that we will be there, so you'll have to bring a lunch. And we also will not have access to a microwave, so if you want something warm, those insulated thermoses work very well. Okay, so how do I pay? You can pay monthly, you can pay by semester, or in full for the year, whatever works best. But the only stipulation is that the first semester is paid off by the time the second semester starts. What should your child bring? So we will be providing a supply list with very basic items: pencils, backpacks, notebooks, folders, things like that. But most of the things that we will need, we will have. So we will have the math manipulatives that we will need to teach. You would just make sure that you would also get what you need for your house, any manipulatives or supplies that you would need for your own personal day homeschooling. So you will have all that information prior. And if there's bad weather, we are following DCSD's school closures and delays. They usually send that out. If you're on their text list, they send it out by 5 o'clock. I will be sending out texts and emails before 6 o'clock a.m. to hopefully sooner than that to get you as much time as you need. But we will follow the school district's policy. Okay.
All right. And give Cassie a break now. Because I also made her cover some of my stuff at the beginning. I apologize, but she did great. We have a few more minor details to go over. Again, I warned you, my part's the more boring part, especially if you were here for the first meeting as well. Some things that I need to go over logistically for you as a homeschool family. The first one is Forging Education, Castlewood Classical Academy. We are not umbrella schools. If you are involved in an umbrella school as a homeschool family, we have no problem with that. You are welcome. As far as we're concerned, you're the parent. You can do what you want with your child. And if you want to enroll them in our program and an umbrella school, there's no issue on our side. As a homeschool family, there are really 5 things that you need to be aware of as far as the CDE standards. The first is you need to submit a notice of intent. Unless you're in an umbrella school, you need to submit a notice of intent to a school district in Colorado 14 days prior to beginning homeschooling. And a good way to gauge the start of your year would probably be the beginning of this program if you register for this program. And so I would just get this done in July. That's the safe way to make sure it's done. You are allowed to send it to any district in Colorado. Some districts are more friendly and some are less friendly to homeschoolers. And so you can send it to whoever you want. If you want a recommendation, though, the Woodland Park School District is extremely friendly to homeschoolers. And one of the organizations that I talked about earlier, Enrich Colorado, will actually send you a reminder to do a notice of intent. We will also give a template that you can use if you want for that letter to a district. And then we will also give you the email address for the Woodland Park School District in case you want to use that one. My wife and I have used that district ever since I got connected with the former superintendent of that district. And when I send a letter, they simply reply with, "Got it, thanks." I mean, it's very straightforward. They're very pro parental rights. You as a homeschool parent have the right to do what you want to do within the CDE guidelines. Another part of those guidelines, though, you have to provide 172 days of instruction per year, and it has to average out to 4 hours per day. Both days a week that they are in this program would certainly count. Most families that I know, you would, in this type of a program, Monday, Wednesday, they're in the program, Tuesday, Thursday, they are typically doing the at-home portion, and Friday, you can count reading as homeschool, or you can do whatever you want that is educational for your kids, or if they're going to be in the Friday program as well, that would count for educational time. You have to teach the required subjects. Castlewood does cover all these subjects, so that's not a concern if you're in this program. You have to keep records. We do not require you to turn in vaccine records. We keep attendance records for ourselves. We have to report that to justify getting the grant. We do have to meet our requirements. So we do keep attendance records of your students. But you as a homeschool parent or homeschool family, you are required to keep track of which days they do school. Now, I will say I've been very connected in the homeschool community my entire life, grew up homeschooled, and have been working with homeschoolers ever since I graduated. I have never heard of a family. I'm not saying it hasn't happened to people, but it's very rare. I have never heard of a family where the information has been requested about attendance records, or are you storing your kids' vaccine records in the house specifically, but you are supposed to do these things. The final thing is assessments. Students who are third grade, fifth grade, seventh grade, ninth grade, and 11th grade do have to do assessments or evaluations. There is another option as well. But typically, this is taking a national standardized test every other year as a homeschool family. You can do whatever you would like with this. You're the parent. You can decide how you handle this. However, Castlewood will provide an opportunity for students who need to take a national standardized test to do so if the parents are wanting them to do so. So that is one that we will try to help you meet the criteria of as a homeschool family. There's the QR code if you want to sign up, castlewoodacademy.com or forgingeducation.com in order to sign up. Either of those will get you to the application. I think, Cassie, I'm going to go ahead and preempt the question about Fridays and what that looks like if somebody's in both programs. If you are wanting to do both of our programs, here's how it's structured. For the Friday program, we do allow families to buy in at a significant discount if you are funded by the enrichment funding in our 2-day program. If you are in another program entirely and you also want to buy into our program, it's a whole different story, okay? At that point, it is $4,000 per kid for whatever program you want. We're losing even more than that with not getting the state grant. If you're in the 2-day program and the 1-day program, the 1-day program is $2,000 a year for your first child and $1,000 a year for any additional children. Okay. And I know it sounds a little high. I promise that is a massive discount off of what we would actually be getting with the grant. And so let me calculate this. If you want 2 kids in both programs, so it's 3 days a week, then the total cost would be $6,000 a year. And Cassie is a mathematician, and she will tell us if I did that correct, but 18 plus 12 is 3, plus 2 plus 1 is 3. So I believe 6,000 was the right answer. And so for 2 kids, 3 days a week, it would be $6,000 for the year, just to kind of put that in perspective. And with that, Cassie, do you have anything else you want to throw in before we go into questions?
But why don't I show pictures of the
Oh, yeah.
facility first?
Yep, go for it.
So then if there's any questions that come up on that. So let me share my screen. Okay. All right. I'm just going to, okay. So this is Eternal Rock. This is the Lutheran church that we are operating out of for our elementary K-5 program Mondays and Wednesdays. This is not where the middle school will be. This is just the elementary, and then this is also where the Friday program will be. So the sanctuary we are able to use, however, on Mondays and Wednesdays, we will not use this too often, but we have this available to use for performances, for trainings, for meetings, things like that. I don't necessarily need to show you. This is where we will be. So this gym, we will be in every day. These doors, I don't know if you can see over here. I don't know if that even works if I do that. These doors over here is where you're gonna drop off and pick up your kids. I know that there are always questions about that. We do not have an actual system set up yet, but I promise you it will be detailed and specific, because one thing that that is very important to me is security. And knowing the amount of students that we are now enrolling in our elementary program specifically, it likely will not be a walk up and drop off, a walk up and pick up. We will be working on looking at how a car line would work. They are going to be redoing their parking lot, so we do need to see what that's going to look like before we determine exactly how our system will be. So this is the gym, and right off the gym are all of the classrooms that we will be using. And we will utilize the gym for indoor recess, for lunch as needed, for PE as needed. This will be our space when it is cold outside. Just another view. Oh, and you can see over here, that is the library. That is how close we are to if you can see out these big doors right there. This is the atrium. Again, we will not have access to this on Mondays or Wednesdays. We will have access on Fridays. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can do a video first. Here we go. Okay. And I did a weird angle on my camera. I apologize, but this is basically walking through the main area. You see the library over there, and through the gym. We've got all of our classrooms here. Let's see if I can make it a little bigger. There. And then up the stairs is going to be one of our classrooms as well. So we have 5 classrooms on the main level and then 1 up at the top. So in here is going to be our 4th and 3rd grade classrooms. So there is a partition right here that it is mostly soundproof, and it will go across and turn this classroom until this very large classroom into two smaller classrooms. Now these tables that you see are fairly chunky and clunky and big. These will not be the tables that we will be using when school starts. We are in the process of finding some new tables for that. just to make it easier and give kids more space. So these are pictures of the classrooms. We will have whiteboards and televisions in all of the classrooms, and all the classrooms will be ready to go the moment the students arrive on Monday morning. So this right here is going to be our 4th grade classroom, and this is our 3rd grade classroom. Okay. So next to the 3rd and 4th grade classroom in the corner is our 2nd grade classroom. This is a fairly larger classroom. And again, these will not be the tables that will be in here during the day. These tables will likely be put into the classrooms for these smaller kids. This is our kinder and 1st grade classrooms. And again, this is a very large classroom that is divided into 2 with a very nice partition. And these classrooms will be ready to go every Monday for your students with everything that they will need. All the things that you're seeing in here right now will be moved, but the kindergarten has a nice sink and then wraps back right out to the gym. So these are the classrooms that we have at this point for the lower level and where we're going to be. Let's see for the next one. Okay. So coming out of that was the kindergarten classroom, and then this is the bathroom that all the kids will use. If we need, I'll go back a little bit right here. Through these doors right here are larger bathrooms, but again, so there is a group that meets Mondays and actually Monday through Thursday in the atrium. And they will have full access to those bathrooms. This door will be locked, but if there is an emergency and the bathroom is taken, the one that we will use, then your child will be escorted out these doors with an adult to use the larger bathrooms. Oh. Okay. So then going up the stairs, you don't need to see me walking. Maybe I should have run. So up here is our 5th grade classroom. And again, we will have different tables and chairs to make it for them to have more room. And there will also be a whiteboard in there along with the TV. So that's what that classroom looks like. That is the 5th grade classroom. And these are not the configurations, again, of what it will look like during class time. This is the 3rd and 4th class again, 2nd and kindergarten and 1st. And that is what it looks like on the other side. I thought, maybe I did not. I thought I got a picture of the parking lot because, and I can kind of show you a little bit. So on kind of where this green truck is and over, we are going to be turning this space into an outdoor play area. We're going to have a basketball hoop and lots of outdoor equipment that kids can play with. We will have temporary fencing that can go up to keep the kids contained. And just to add an additional level of protection for them. So this is our elementary campus. We are going to be at Cornerstone. Oh, here's the parking lot. I put it in the wrong folder. So over here, this is the parking lot for Eternal Rock, where we will be using blocking off to create a space for kids to play. Okay, so this is Cornerstone. This is a church that is smaller up by its beautiful view right by off of 5th by that large Catholic church. This is the building that we will be using. It is a modular. It has 3 classrooms in it, and we will have this for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. So that will be in there. And again, I mean, you can't beat that view. And then this is a very large field that they can play in. I can't imagine that kids that age will be super excited about a play space, but it's there for them to play on. And then there is this large courtyard out front of the building as well. And it does fall in between the 2 buildings. So it is a nice space for those kids. Okay. There we go. So I hope that was helpful. Try to get as much for you guys as I could.
All right. So does anybody have any questions about the 2-day program? And if you do, you just unmute yourself. And if not, that's okay too. Or you can put it in the chat, I suppose.
What is the group that's meeting in the atrium while the kids are in school?
So it is a group, an adult group with special needs. So one of the things that the pastor of Eternal Rock is very passionate about is working with adults with special needs. It is an incredible group. They actually meet at a few different locations throughout Castle Rock. And I don't know, I think it's pretty cool that they have that there. But just so you know, it is completely separate. So there is a door that, I don't know if you saw the large double doors that have glass on them. In between the gym and the atrium where they will be. We have curtains that are going to go up. The doors will remain locked the entire day, as well as the door that separates our bathroom from theirs. That will be locked as well, just to remain completely separate and have that space for our kids.
Good question. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you guys for joining and hearing about this. Again, castlewoodacademy.com. You can go on there. You can apply at the top. It'll either say 1-day engage or 2-day hybrid. You can get review information on there if you would like to. I would encourage you, if you are wanting to do this, apply soon. It is first come, first serve, and we do have classroom grades that are filling at this point. And so we hope to see you at this program in the future. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night, everyone.
You all.